Hey, everybody. Cool Cat Jack coming at you with that review I promised you all of Bibleman. Before we get to that, though, you guys may have noticed that the audio sounds different. Hopefully better, because we got a new microphone, a Yeti. We named him Hank. In solidarity with that really bad Yeti movie, To Catch a Yeti. Cinema Snob reviewed it. Has nothing to do with anything, but we named it Hank. Also, there's going to be a bunch of videos coming out, guys. We have... The Trigun episode has been finished. We used the microphone for that. We also have a recording I'm going to put up of just me and Logan testing it out, farting around, and it ended up being kind of a weird karaoke thing where we ended up singing like this really funny song from forever ago. It was like a great meme. It was that He-Man song where they took that song 4 Non-Blondes did forever ago in like the 80s or early 90s. It was great. Anyway, you guys should check that out. It's pretty funny. You get to hear me sing poorly, so that's a lot of fun. So we can get into the episode. So I looked at the Bibleman episode known as Bibleman and the Fiendish Works of Dr. Fear. The episode starts with Miles, Peterson, and Coates, who's his sidekick, I guess. It's like this black guy that looks like Lucas Cage. And Bibleman, by the way, is not dressed. He's in his civilian clothes at this point. We'll get into what Bibleman looks like in a little bit. So it starts out with them preparing for this Clean is Cool campaign that's supposed to be like basically DARE for this school, because Satan spends his time trying to get, like upper middle class white kids to do drugs. So, you got to fight against that. That's a thing that happens. They show off these little badges called the Clean is Cool badges that him and this kid from the basketball team, he's like the coach, or not the coach, he's like the head guy. So they're getting prepared for that. They're listening to some really bad Christian rock song. They just turn it off. And they leave the room, and then our villain shows up, who looks like a mix between a Borg and a dentist, and he's Dr. Fear. He also has this henchman named Ludacris. Ludacris looks like he's got half his face painted black, and he's got a bandana on his head, but it's the wrong way, and it also has a hat. For some reason. I really don't know what they were going with for Ludacris. But anyway, so he announces his fiendish plan. He switches they just keep these badges on a table, by the way, and he just switches them out. So he can use his fear button, which he brings up. At this point, the intro happens, which is fucking nuts, by the way. Like this intro, it's just, it's like, Miles Peterson had it all, but it wasn't enough, and it's just like this dude standing in the freaking rain, screaming his head off. And he's like sobbing, and he just drops down on the ground and he finds a Bible and he becomes like the worst superhero ever. Bibleman, whose superpower is that he can pray and he can steal lightsabers. Yeah, he's the lamest superhero. His power is that he can pray, guys. Anyway, so it pans back to this anti-drug, it's like a swing party. Everyone's dancing for some reason. The principal comes up and he starts talking about the Clean is Cool campaign, how Bibleman and Kurt Cooper, the Superfly point man of the basketball team, don't do drugs. How cool, that's super awesome, guys. That's what we need. I was thinking about doing drugs, but then I realized that my super sweet basketball team doesn't do drugs, so obviously I'm not going to. But anyway, so he gives like this really cringy speech. The principal also says that he's his principal and his friend, which, no, that's weird. Miles Peterson, Bibleman gives a check from Miles Peterson, who he pretends not to be. Apparently people don't know, like the villains know who he's Miles Peterson, but here, like normal people don't seem to know that he's Miles. Miles gives a check for like $10,000 for this Clean is Cool campaign, which I don't really understand why you'd need that much. You would just need to put up some posters and give out some pins and go, hey kids, don't do drugs. I don't know why you need $10,000 to do that. I don't know. DARE's weird. Also, I find it really disturbing that they're in like a public middle school and he's just, they got Bibleman. Or maybe it's not. It might be like a private school. I don't know. But like you get the feeling it's supposed to be a public school and he's just hanging out. But anyway, so we go to see the villains are watching this little speech. And you got Lucy, who's like an evil computer that sounds like a mobster's girlfriend or like Harley Quinn. Then there's obviously Ludacris and Dr. Fear, who gets pointed out earlier apparently was another villain. So something that I actually found out by watching other episodes is that this guy often plays villains. Like there are other actors that play different villains in different episodes, but he shows up periodically. I mean, I gotta be honest with you though, the villain is pretty great. I mean, ridiculous, but so is everything else about this. Like, just the idea, and I know I've mentioned this, guys. I don't know how to emphasize how weird Bibleman looks like. He looks like Prince's butt plug, or like Batman if he was trying to hide that he was gay and he's doing a really bad job of it. He's purple. He's like in purple, like Nerf material or like hard plastics. And he's like purple and yellow, which not a good color scheme for a superhero, I think. I had this idea for like a crazy blaxploitation character called Liberty King. He would be the one wearing purple and yellow, not for Bibleman, yeah. So panic button makes people afraid. Surprise, surprise. That's his whole plan. He's going to use his panic button, signal it to this button that the two of them have, and it gives them fear. So at this point, Ludacris asks Dr. Fear how he got this panic button. And like it gets mentioned that there's these guys called Dirt. What would happen if like Pantera found Jesus or something? Like there are all these dudes that look like they just came from a metal concert, and they're like standing behind like one of those fake fires you can get at like the Halloween, like Spirit of Halloween store. They all have names, but I didn't learn them because, you know, I'm not taking any of this shit seriously, and neither should you. But it pans to after the speech is given, and I think Coates asks if Miles will make an appearance at this point, and he makes some joke about not being Superman, and I'm like, yeah, because even Superman would look at your costume and go, really? So it pans to Bibleman in his base. He has like a base of operations under his house because he's literally just Christian Batman. And it's like really weird looking. It's got like one of those like lightning globe things in there. There's like, you know, buttons that don't seem to do anything. Bubbly shit for some reason, like a chemistry set in the corner. There's a computer. Like it's supposed to be all sci-fi, but it just looks like in a chemistry class, like the closet that you would go into. That's kind of what it looks like. Also, they use a bunch of Bible verses, which I'm not going to bother going through them because, again, I don't care. At this point, Coates shows off that he has this, like, cool force field thing, I guess. And by cool, I mean it's kind of lame. It's, I made light into a force field. I mean, light is just energy, right? Like, it's not solid matter. How would that deflect anything? But, you know, whatever. I'm questioning the sci-fi validity of a show called Bibleman at this point. So he needs to go to an interview with this thing called Kids Talk. This is the thing about Bibleman. He doesn't fight crime. He goes to random lame school events dressed as Bibleman and gives crappy interviews talking about Jeebus. So he has to have his power-up scene. I don't know, it's just like, Bibleman! And he's like scanning up. It's like the sword of the spirit and the mask of self-righteousness and the belt of arrogance or whatever the fuck it's called, you know? And again, like, I pointed this out to my buddy. Like, this guy has like way too much eyeliner on. I may have said this already, but he has like so much eyeliner under his mask. It's really weird. So he goes to this interview, right? Clearly this kid's been given questions and the acting is not great, but it's, you know, a kid, so I'll give it a pass. I'm not expecting Oscar-worthy acting from a show called Bibleman, and neither should you. But this kid goes, you know, kids face people trying to get them to do drugs all the time. There's a lot of pressure on kids to do drugs these days. I like this kid, like, you guys gotta realize, this is like the whitest school you've ever seen, right? Like, these are all just like corn-fed kids in like upper Maine, right? You are not being pressured to take drugs, right? To do the cocaine. Like, and like this kid says, like, so what do you say to all the kids that are being pressured by their friends to smoke crack or some shit like that? Is, you know, he's like, that's a serious problem that people have. And he's about to give an answer, and then the panic button's pressed, and Bibleman is suddenly afraid, and he's having a hard time giving an answer, right? It's like, oh no, Bibleman can't give a cool answer, and all the kids will start doing drugs. So Bibleman manages to stop this, you know, and the villains are all laughing about how he can't talk, but he prays. Like, right in the middle of this interview, he literally starts praying. It's like the weirdest, cringiest thing I've ever seen. But like their signal is lost for the demons or some crap like that. At this point, Bibleman brings up the story of Noah as an example of what to do. Because he's all like, you know, Noah was told by God to make a boat in the middle of the desert. And all his friends said he was stupid. But he listened to God, and it was great because he survived while all his friends and all his friends and neighbors drowned horribly in a genocidal flood because God loves us. Like, what's the lesson here, guys? Like, listen to God or it'll kill your family. I don't understand. Like, it's a really bad choice, guys. Like, Noah, like, I know a lot of people, like, most people have heard the story of Noah, even if you didn't go to church. And I did, by the way. I went to a Baptist church growing up. You know, I really didn't start questioning it until I was about 13, 14, and I actually started reading some of the Bible, and I just went, like people believe this shit. Noah was one of the worst stories you could have brought up because it's literally about God just deciding on a whim. Humanity is a wicked, evil thing, and he regrets making humanity, so he decides that he wants to wipe out like almost all of humanity except Noah, his wife, and like his kids and their wives, so he can restart and get rid of sin, as Christians put it that way, with sin. But like it obviously doesn't work because people still sin according to Christians. So like the whole story just ends up being, well, God threw a fit one day and decided to flood the entire earth. Whenever some crazy guy on the street goes, oh, God's going to destroy the world, ask him if he heard a voice first. And if he did, he should probably build a boat. It pans over to Kurt. Dirt shows up and they're all laughing about it because the villain, Dr. Fear and Ludacris, are like, hey, the button doesn't work. And he's like, yeah, it's because he's prayed, right? But we can get Kurt now, too. So Kurt's practicing basketball with his buddies. The villains hit him with the panic button. He's like, oh, no, I can't shoot hoops anymore. The middle school will lose the big game, guys. Damn you, Satan! If we lose the game, obviously kids will be like, well, Kurt's not cool, so I should just start freebasing Ambien or some shit, dude. So Coates shows up. He's apparently the coach at this school, too. So Coates the coach. And he's all like, man, I can't shoot no hoops. Everything sucks. Oh. Like, this kid is just, like, completely despondent that he misses a couple times while shooting hoops and just, like, walks away. So later on, Bibleman and Kurt are both back at base. He mentions this whole thing to Kurt, and then Bibleman goes, that's weird. I was feeling cold earlier. And it's like, what? Bibleman and Kurt were both feeling cold? Obviously, this is a vast conspiracy, which doesn't sound... He's right? We know that he's right, but that just sounds... that sounds insane. Just think about that. I felt a chill earlier today. Oh my God. Clearly, there's an evil force at work that wants to damn us. Like, he decides he's going to go check out the gym, and he finds, like, salt crystals or some shit on the floor. By the way, the music for this scene was, like, way too... It's actually, like, creepy. It's like something you'd find out a Nightmare on Elm Street or some shit. The dreamscape part just before Freddy shows up. Like, this is the kind of music that's playing, right? The murderer's in the window, and you can see him because the lightning struck. That's the kind of music that's playing right now. It's, like, way too intense for this because it's a full-grown man in purple plastic armor with a fucking... banana popsicle that glows for a weapon. See, I could have made a lightsaber joke, guys, but I wanted to be original, so it's a glowing banana popsicle. Take that. So first sword fight of the show. They're in the gym. Dr. Fear and Bibleman start swinging their blades and stuff. He uses his fear button a few times and gets the upper hand, but then apparently it just stops working. So the villain, like, runs away by, like, throwing, like, dust like a ninja and just vanishing, poof, gone. Bibleman takes back this salt and he starts testing it, and apparently it's salt and water and it creates fear. Sweating automatically means you're going to have horrible nightmares. Also, apparently the villain knows his secret identity. Like, they literally have video of them watching him at random times, and they see a Bibleman in his normal clothes being called Miles. Why the fuck his secret identity, and why would they not use that against him? Like, I feel like if I was going to attack Bibleman, I would get him at home when he least suspects it. That he's trying to test this out, and Coates is like, man, you need to get some sleep. You're not sleeping. Because, it's literally been a day, but apparently Kurt's not sleeping. So he falls asleep, and like it goes back to the villains, and they're talking about his worst fears that they want to set up. And they mention that his greatest fear is that he'll fail Coates. He has this nightmare, guys. And before this point, right, the show is really goofy. It's like weird sci-fi, kind of goofy jokes. And it takes a hard right into like really dark. Like, this is like a scene out of freaking Apocalypse Now or like Taxi Driver or some shit. There's like all these flashing and intense music, and this Bibleman holding to Coates in this elevator shaft that's falling down. He's like, come on, man, pull me up. And Bibleman's like, oh, hold on, I'm going to try, man. I'm trying to hold on to you. And like, there's like this flashing lights and all this. Looks like something out of that movie 9. And like, he lets go. Coates falls. And then like, Bibleman's like, no! And it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, what is with Christian shit and just having these inexplicable, horrifying scenes? And I've noticed this because every now and then I'll watch really bad, crap. But like, there's always, like with kids shit, especially growing up, I remember this. Like, there's always like these scenes randomly. VeggieTales even did this crap a little bit, which is just like inexplicably dark shit just out of nowhere. I mean, I guess this isn't just Christian cartoons that do this too. Like, there's other cartoons, right? Like, Courage the Cowardly Dog did that shit. Courage the Cowardly Dog is like this goofy show about this dog that constantly runs into horrible, spooky monsters that are kind of goofy. And then they have this one episode where it's like domestic violence. There's like this dog that just, with a wife beater, keeps a girl named Bunny, and her friend is trying to help her out. He gets run over by a freaking train. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. We'll get back to Bibleman now. I apologize, everybody. Bibleman goes to see Kurt. So Kurt's still trying to shoot basketball so they can replay that footage they had earlier. And he's just like, no, man, I can't do this. I'm lame. I can't shoot basketballs. No one's going to listen to me, which clearly is going to lead to a massive drug epidemic, I assume, because, everyone's going to see how lame Kurt is. And Bibleman gets really upset because he's trying to make him feel better, but he ends up making him feel worse because they're both getting sprayed with the fear or whatever. The coach comes up and is like, what's up, man? He's like, I don't know. I was trying to help him, but then he's just like, apparently a full-grown man walking up to a kid in a gimp outfit doesn't make that kid feel better. Bibleman goes down and he's like walking back home, I guess, because I don't know. He left the motorcycle. Oh, yeah, there was like this motorcycle scene when he's driving to the interview, and it looked really funny because it's like just a green screen and Bibleman on this motorcycle staring intensely down the roadway. But apparently Bibleman's just walking out of the school or whatever, and it's another fight scene. And it has this really weird, random scene for no reason where like the villain comes out in a mariachi outfit, throws a fucking sombrero on the floor, dances around and goes, yo quiero taco smell. And it's like, what? And it just, guys, you gotta realize, sombrero, throws it out, yo quiero taco smell, which I guess is making fun of Taco Bell, and then like it pans over to Bibleman and then it pans back and he's just in his normal outfit and they never bring that up again. Like, I guess it's supposed to be a joke, but it was like, what? Like, I actually had a hard time focusing on the rest of this fight scene because I was just like trying to figure out what the hell was going on there. So Bibleman gets defeated by the fear button and he's about to lose, and Coach shows up and uses his magic force field to blast back the fear button, which is apparently a thing you can do. Because you can use light to deflect fear. I really don't understand how this button works. So he gets back to base, and Bibleman's all despondent, and then Coach is trying to figure out what's going on. So he talks to the computer Lucy, who's like kind of a dick. Like, Lucy is an asshole, dude. To Coach especially. Like, I don't get what's with Lucy and just being a complete prick to Coach. I mean, they hate each other. Like, I don't know how these guys work together because Lucy's like insulting him all the time and like he's doing it back. And it's kind of a similar thing with Ludacris and I said Lucy. Sorry, it was I forget the name of the good computer. Lucy's the evil computer, but Lucy has the same thing with Ludacris, whereas the good computer has a thing with Coates. And I don't really understand why computer programs in this world are just complete pricks to everybody. But it's a thing. They have their owner, and then they have their owner's friend, and they just hate their friend. It would kind of be like if my laptop just constantly mouthed off to Logan. But anyway, so he asks, what's up with Bibleman? Because Bibleman had made a little intro earlier about his fear. And apparently, not only can these computers can see into his head. Like, it literally plays back his nightmare for Coates. I don't know how a computer does it. That's really disturbing. How did she do that? Does Bibleman have like a computer chip in his brain or something and computers just read your mind? Because that's kind of disturbing. So Coates starts talking with Bibleman because Bibleman walks in as he's watching this and he's all like, hey man, you need to stop freaking out so much because God saved us back there. Not me with my force field that makes no sense because it's made of light. I'm not a physicist, guys. If there's somebody that knows science, is there a way that light can be used as a physical barrier? Maybe I'm wrong, because I'm an idiot, guys. You guys got to remember, I got like a D in chemistry and, just general science, so I could be completely wrong. So don't take my word for it. I'm going to feel like an idiot if someone points out that this is a possible thing. But I'm pretty sure light cannot be a force field. Anyway, so he's all like, apart from God, we can do nothing, which also is kind of disturbing. Like, we're just flesh puppets? It kind of makes me feel like we're supposed to be just toys God plays with. Anyway, so they figure out that the cool cat buttons are what's cool cat buttons, the coolest clean buttons. One day, guys, if I get famous enough, if my show, the Knuckle Draggers thing gets big enough, we're gonna have cool cat buttons because that would be super sweet. I wear a jean jacket all the time. I don't know, in fact. I would totally put one on here. The good guys switch back the buttons. They have a little talk with Kurt so that Kurt can learn to shoot hoops better. They basically say, yeah, quit freaking out, dude. It's literally a basketball game in middle school. No one gives a shit, basically. That's not what they say, but they should have. And like, calm the fuck down, dude. You're not going to end drugs this way. This is dumb. So after he talks to him and switches out his button, right, they have another fight scene, and the doctor is horrified to find out, Dr. Fear, that his fear button isn't working because it's not signaling because he switched out the button. And Coates shows up and he's all, yeah, man, that ain't gonna work anymore, but my shield will. And for some reason, Dr. Fear shoots the light beam at his force field, even though he knows it'll deflect it back. It hits him, and like, I guess just Dr. Fear just digitizes. Like it's like that scene out of like Tron where he gets blasted into the computer. Is the villain dead? Does Bibleman murder people? Also, like, is he a demon or a human? I guess he's supposed to be a demon, so maybe that makes it okay. But anyway, so they go back to base. Coates mentions that they won the big basketball game, which thank God, because, you know, obviously all the kids were just on the cusp of starting starting to try LSD because Kurt couldn't win the basketball game. Or whatever. Anyway, so they talk for a little while, and they're like, oh, yeah, happily ever after. And then, like, Bibleman shows up, and he goes, hi, kids! We all feel fear, but you don't need to be afraid, because none of your decisions mean anything, because God controls everything. You're just a mindless flesh puppet. Have a good day, kids. And then it starts playing the Bibleman outro. And that's pretty much that episode. There are plenty of other episodes I may look at. I wasn't originally going to do this one, because this is one that I used to see a lot as a kid. But then I kind of felt like maybe I should start with that one. All in all, like, I'm not Christian, guys. I grew up Christian, and I've seen a lot worse things. Bibleman is just kind of goofy. It's okay. It's kind of funny, too, at times. It's clear that the people that did this show seem to be enjoying themselves, at least. And it's not hate-filled, necessarily. I mean, the episodes basically just say, you know, don't be afraid, or if you're afraid, it's okay, you know, because God will save you, right? Or help you out or something. Which, fine, whatever. That's cool. His outfit's still really weird, though. Also, there's Satan's weird obsession with this random middle school, because I checked out the other episodes, and apparently they're all set around this group of kids in this school. I wanted to do the one on lies first, because it's like this little black girl who's a part of this group of random white kids who's being compelled by a demon of lies. Later on in the show, like, this is one of the earlier episodes, I think. But in the original, but in the more popular strain of the show later on, it's like this group of kids. I'm going to check that one out next, probably. But anyway, I actually decided that my next Cool Cat review, which will not be a Knuckle Draggers thing, I'm going to actually look... I've been thinking about this podcast I've been listening to again. And I kind of want to review one of the episodes and talk about it, because it's a really great series. I want to get on that. I listened to the episode last night, and I think we'll re-listen to it. It's from a series known as Liberty Endures, which is a website that leads to this. It's like multi-platform kind of thing, right? It's not just most of the great stuff on it is from this podcast, but they also have a comic book and an RPG game. And I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna look at one of the episodes from Tales from the Tower, because this world is kind of like a sci-fi mixed with horror, and they have this really great episode that I listened to again that I remember made me just. It's one of the scariest things I've ever listened to, guys. And I love horror, if you haven't noticed. I mean, I watch Bibleman, right? Anyway, I hope you're all doing good. I had to do this quick recording just before work. I'm going to probably edit this all together later on. And then this is going to probably be posted with everything else. I'm not going to probably be able to put this up until tomorrow. But you guys won't notice because you'll just listen to this. Take care of yourselves, guys. Try to get out of the house if you can. Because I know I've been going stir crazy with everything. And it's just good to get some sun, you know, maybe go visit some people if it's not going to put them at risk. You know, things should be opening up soon. Check out our other stuff, guys. Seriously, I'm going to have this like little 8-minute thing with me and Logan where we were testing out the microphone. And I think it's pretty funny. But anyway, bye.